Okay, I'm starting with this the luncheon. First of all, we have to understand that what do we mean by luncheon. Just focus on this word and just try to understand. Lunch means what? Lunch we are taking in the afternoon time. Yes or no? Lunch we are taking in afternoon time. Lunch we are taking in afternoon time, and dinner we are taking at night time. So one thing is clear here, that in this story we are going to understand that the characters in this story are going for the lunch. Okay, and this story is written by William Somerset Maugham. Right, Maugham. Let's start. I got Here I is nothing but the writer who had written this story. I got sight of her at the play, and in answer to her call. So here you know what happened. The writer is saying that I got that sight of that girl. I saw that girl when I was in drama. When I was in theater, I saw that girl, and in answer to her call, I saw also and I answer also to her call. I went over during the interval and sat down beside her. So here you know what happened. The writer is saying that I saw I for after a long time I saw that girl during a drama, a stage play, and I answered to her call. She called me during interval time, and I went and I sat just next to her. It was a long since I had I had last seen her, and if someone had not mentioned her name, I hardly think I would have recognized her. She addressed me brightly. So here first paragraph the writer is talking about that I was in drama, a stage play. She called me, and in the break time I went to her and sat just beside her. And if someone had not told her name, I will never going to recognize her. Who is she? And she had addressed me very brightly. Well, it's many years since we first met. How time does fly. We are none of us getting any younger. Do you remember the first time I saw you? You asked me to luncheon. So here, you know, when during the interval time, when this man go to talk with her, she told him that like we both are not younger anymore. Do you remember that you had asked for me a luncheon? So this lady is saying to the writer that you had asked for me for a luncheon. You had asked for me for a luncheon. So which means the writer asked her for the luncheon. So here the writer is saying that did I remember? Did I remember? It was 20 years ago, and I was living in Paris. So here the writer is saying that, did I remember, it was 20 years ago. The things what you are talking about, it was 20 years ago, and at that time I was living in Paris. I had a tiny apartment and I was earning barely enough money. She had read a book of mine and had written to me about it. And had written to me about it. I answered, thanking her, and presently I answered, thanking her, and presently. So here, you know what happened? Here, this writer is trying to say, like 20 years ago, the things you are talking about 20 years ago. I used to live in Paris, and I was having a small apartment, which means small house and building, and she had read a book of mine and had written me about it. So here, you know what happened? This writer is trying to say the story, how he met her first time 20 years ago. This lady had read his book and I answered, thanking her, and presently I received from her another letter saying she was passing through Paris, would like to have a chat with me. But her time was limited and the only free moment she had was on the following Thursday. Would I give her a little luncheon at Fayad afterwards? Fayad is a restaurant, and it was so far beyond my means that I had never even thought of going there. So here, you know what happened? This lady, the writer is talking about, first time he met to this girl 20 years before. How 20 years before? She used to read his book, and she had written to her on letter that I want to meet you. Then this man is saying that yes, definitely, according to your time, we will going to meet. So following Thursday, she was free, and I decided that the writer decided that I'm going to meet her near Fayot restaurant, and this restaurant is little bit luxury. Like the things are not cheaply. It is a costly restaurant which is beyond his means. I had never even thought of going there. I had 80 francs to last me rest of the month, and the modest luncheon should not cost more than 15. If I cut if I cut out coffee for the next 2 weeks, I could manage well enough. I could manage well enough if I cut out coffee. Okay, so here they are saying that, like, the writer was having 84 francs, and that 84 francs he used to use till last of the month, but he was desiring to take that 84 francs to spend on that lady. Okay.